From time to time, we remember that love will save the world. It comes up on occasion, and we remember it, and perhaps we agree with it with some qualification. Maybe we say, right, love and power, love and authority, love and position. Love will do it with riches. Love and perfection. Love and rightness. Love and certainty. It makes me wonder that perhaps maybe we don't yet know the depths of love. And so we add on these other parts because we only know love to a certain extent. Could it be that we only know love partially? I have a reality TV show I'd like to recommend to you. I never thought I would say that. I'm not a fan of reality television. But this one is remarkable. It's a show entitled Alone. Has anyone seen this reality TV show, Alone? It's a good one. Would you agree? A very good one. The premise is 10 people are dropped off at a remote location. And when I say remote, I mean remote. Places I didn't even know were on the map is where these folks are being dropped off. Their challenge is to see how long they can live alone. They're given 10 items to take with them and all this camera equipment to film their experience. They do have check-ins for medical purposes, I think on a weekly basis or so, but it's all up to them. And they are out there making a shelter, trying to start a fire, trying to find food. They only have 10 items with which to do these things. So if they want a fishing rod, that could be one of their 10 items. Folks don't take a fishing rod. They take equipment to make a fishing rod. They take equipment to create and knot nets to catch fish or to fall on animals. It's incredible. And the experience that we witness is people coming face to face with themselves. This is part of what makes it such a beautiful show. Here they are out here, and they only have themselves to talk to with the camera beside them. And they start to revisit all kinds of things in their life. Things that come up for them as they're out here in the middle of nowhere. In the first episode, the first season, I should say, which was not the first season we watched, it ended with someone winning, and the winner gets $500,000. So the thing is, people don't know if they're winning because they don't know what's happening with the other people. So they just keep plugging away day in and day out. They have an emergency phone. They say, I'm tapping out. They have to say that into the phone. And their rescue vehicle comes. But they're so far away from each other, they can't hear the helicopter or the motor from the rescue of whoever has gone before. So in this particular episode, the man that won, who was somewhere in his early 40s, had been out there for somewhere around 40-something days. And mind you, there's no watch or anything to keep track of, and he had just made a notch on a piece of wood to help him notice that days were going by. So the medical check, it was time for the medical check, and it was routine, and they were interviewing him to gain a little understanding about his experience, and all of a sudden his wife comes into this scene, and you can see him like calibrating his brain, whining like, wait, where am I and what's going on? And it was at that moment that he realized that he won. So she hands him the $500,000 check. And he says, whoa. He said, we could pay off the house. She said, is that what you want to do with this? He said, no. I want to make it so Dad can retire and our son can get surgery on his eyes so that he can see. Wow. What discovery. As these folks go through things that scrape everything away from them, they start to notice what's really meaningful. That's what makes this show so good. Even the people that tap out early have come to this deeper sense of themselves and the goodness in creation. But the thing that really got me on this episode, which was so good that I said to Michael, I'm just going to play these last 10 minutes for the sermon tomorrow, was that this guy talked about the significance of love and how meaningful it is. Its significance, and I'll give a little bit more about that a little later. When I think about how it is that we come to realize our blessedness, I'm reminded of the Beatitudes. We hear in the Beatitudes, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who mourn. This seems counterintuitive to us, paradoxical even. But the Beatitudes remind us that we will see and experience all that love offers when we are stripped of everything which we believe will do better. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Blessed are the merciful and the pure in heart and the peacemakers, those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake. The Beatitudes remind us that we can voluntarily give up the trappings of this world in order to realize the abundance of love. Maybe you're not up for going on an episode of Alone. I dare say many of us wouldn't qualify. You have to have mad good skills to even get on the show. No, there are no heat sticks as one of your fire starter measures. Perhaps you're not one who wants to take a vow of poverty. But the gentle and available way for each of us is prayer and worship. When we come together corporately, when we have our quiet times by ourselves, things start to fall away. And we start to see illuminated what really lasts. The odds are that probably one or two of you this morning will experience real resonance with this message. Another two or three probably will recall this at a future date, and something will break open for you, and you'll say, I can let that go. We never know when something from our collective worship and our individual prayers unifies to open us up to the expansive and eternal and powerful love of God in our very real lives. Today, we celebrate All Saints' Day. We recognize the countless people who have gone before us. Their names, some of them are out there on the clouds. Some of them are in the leaflet. There are likely going to be names that come to you a little later today, or maybe through the week that you say, oh my gosh, you gave me this. In the episode of Alone, which I was going to just play as a sermon, he talked about love being the only thing that lasts, that will outlive you. Through his experience of being in the wilderness for all of those days, he came to realize that it's really the only thing that's eternal. Names get forgotten, but to the extent that love was expressed and allowed to flourish in the world, that's what continues through the generations. It gets passed down from generation to generation. Our presiding bishop sought to bring this to our attention during his leadership role. He will retire from being presiding bishop next summer. The Reverend Michael Curry will elect a new presiding bishop in the summer of 2024. But you know, he wrote a book called The Way of Love. He's talked about love is the way. And we say, oh, Bishop, that is so nice. He's inviting us to know the depth and the expansiveness and the significance and the power of love. So how can we let our community of faith assist us in unleashing love, releasing love from the trappings of this world? We want revenge and satisfaction. We need to release love from our strategy to get revenge and satisfaction. Let love do that work. We want justification and acknowledgement. How can we release love from our strategy to be justified and acknowledged? Let love do that work. We want an apology and a changing of ways. How can we release love from our strategy to gain an apology and get someone to change? Let love do that work. We want confidence that love will last. We need to release love from our strategy to nail love down and have power over it. Let love do the work of lasting. My friends, anytime any one of us is ready to pick up and claim and hold fast to things that aren't ours, We are invited by the one who is love to let go, so that love can save the world. Love will show us the way. It will incorporate us into its efforts. Can the church say amen? Amen. Let us remember this truth now as we move into the baptism of Cole and renewing our own baptismal covenant.